Hello and welcome to another episode of Collaborators here on the official Odom's Library YouTube channel. My name's c.b.strul and I'll be your host. If you don't already know, this is the show where I talk to anybody that I've worked with in the past, artist, director, writer, producer, somebody that I've collaborated with on a project and had that kind of experience with them. We shoot the shit. We talk about whatever might have gone right, what might have gone wrong, what the collaborative experience is like in general. That's kind of the whole thing. I wanted to give a quick note. Madison is in the middle of her swim season right now, so she's not going to be as available at the moment. She might be in and out of the room just because while she's getting ready, but that's kind of it for today's episode. Anyway, that being said, I want to welcome to the show my guest for today, Elizabeth Harding, writer. How's it going, Liz?
Life is good, buddy. Life is good.
Excellent. So I think I'm going to start by mentioning just kind of how we met because I think it's a very Hollywood story, right? We were at a party, Jose's party.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
This was before COVID, pre-COVID. We just kind of informally met, you, I, and your husband Trevor, and we were joking about I think Star Trek stuff, and it just kind of turned into a collaborative, friendly experience. And from there, we butted into like trying to work on projects together for a little while. And for me, it was one of like the craziest, most like busy periods of my life because I was also helping to open up a bar program in Burbank. So I had my feet in a few different pools. I only have 2 feet and I had them in like 8 different pools at the time. Like I was working with you guys on like multiple things. I was working on my own individual stuff. I had some people on the hook to help me make connectivity into a film at the time and opening the bar, and all those things combining was just absolutely an insane period of my life. How was it for you?
It definitely wasn't as busy as yours. I remember you were just insane. I don't know how you even managed to get enough sleep in and still be like a friendly and kind person while doing all that other stuff. But it was good. I was still hustling, learning how to get on set, working as a PA, really trying to build my network because it takes like 5-ish years from what I've experienced and my other friends have to really get established. So it
Mhm.
was a big networking time for me and just trying to get footing somewhere.
Hmm. And that's the thing that I've never done is try to be a PA at a studio or anything like that. It's kind of not in my wheelhouse, and I think we'll get into that a little bit when we're broaching some of these collaborations that we were involved in. But it's like man, like it takes a personality. You have a very particular personality that you're able to handle that kind of effort of dealing with those kinds of executive types and everything. So I want to think about like what our first attempt at collaboration really was because I feel like I think it was like, was it the production of Critter Crossing that we were trying to get into?
Yeah,
So
I think it was.
yeah. Okay, so if you've been watching this show, Barrett Schuler was on several episodes ago, and he and I had written a an animated screenplay that made it to film festival, was runner up, and Elizabeth and Trevor were kind enough to look at the script and wanted to help us to produce it. And we got a little of a ways through developing, like, what would you call it? What was the little bit that we were trying to make?
I think we were just trying to get just some art and a basic proof of like a deck.
A
A
deck.
deck's really what we needed.
A deck, and I think we wanted to do like a little sizzle kind of
Mhm.
trailer just to like let people experience the characters. And I had a lot of fun during that time, but I also, like I really appreciate you saying that I was a friendly and kind person, because like I know that there were a couple times where you brought me something and I'm like, no, that's not right. I don't, what is that, you know?
Yeah, I think that's what you want in a collaborative relationship. If everybody's just agreeing all the time, that's very questionable to me. I'd like if
Mm,
we got along 100%, I'd be like, somebody's lying, and that's
mm.
not going to make a good product. So I was glad when you were honest about it.
That's fair. And then, like, on a separate note, I was in a weird place where I wasn't sure how my friendship with Barrett was going, and I was more of the mind that like I didn't know if we could make changes, and I got really stubborn. And I always have felt badly about being stubborn about like, well, I don't think that we can make changes until we finally got on a call with him, and he was more than accommodating. And at that point, I feel like we got too busy, and it was past its prime, unfortunately. So I take the blame for that like 100%. But yeah, that's part of working in a group, I guess, is having to balance the egos, you know?
Well, it's hard because I mean, it was y'all's baby too. So I mean, us coming in and any sort of new ideas or things that we wanted to shift, you should be protective of that. That's completely understandable. So just so you know, I've never thought anything negative of it. It's just there's so many things that you pursue and then they just fizzle out for whatever the reason
Mm,
is. It's so normal.
for sure. Yeah. That's something that I'm getting to come to terms with is what that is like for me. It's like, okay, well, if a project didn't happen, why didn't it happen? Is it okay that it didn't happen? What's next? Is it maybe it'll come back around at some point, you know? And that's, that's kind of the writer's life in general.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's better to shelve it. You think it's time and then you learn so much. Like I would totally approach Critter Crossing way differently now that I've produced my own animatic and kind of understand that process more. Like, oh, we were completely in the wrong ballpark trying to do this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cool topic because, and you reminded me of this because I had completely forgotten about it. Can we say the name of it?
Power struggles?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So I had completely forgotten about. We worked on Power Struggles briefly together. I did a pass at one of the scripts, and I completely forgot. Like it's been so far from my mind for such a long time. But that was a fun project, and you've got an animatic for it now. So you've actually been beginning the pitching process and everything for it.
Yeah, we did that over COVID. You probably wouldn't even recognize it at this point. I mean, it's the original title was The Life of Ed, which was really bad. But, you know, we learn and we adjust. And
Hmm.
it's really developed into something really, really good now. We worked with a really good animator named Riley Holmquist, who had such a great sense of comedic timing visually that
Hmm.
we don't think in that headspace of. Like, we can write the jokes and all that, but he was like, oh, yeah, but if you add these little things, it makes it even funnier. And we worked with him and created this really beautiful, it's like a 7-minute animatic, worked with some really great voice actors that I just cold emailed and hoped they would say yes. And boom.
And they were in. That's so awesome. Yeah. Is that available to see online or is it still privately held?
Yeah, yeah, I put it out on YouTube. I figured if, I mean, I can shelve it and try to pitch it when I want. But putting the animatic out there is not going to hurt anything. If anything, in the digital age, it might help.
Yeah, I agree.
So I figured, why not?
Okay, well, we'll link to that later. I'll get the link for that and we'll put it on, we'll post it on this video. So
That's it.
anybody who's intrigued about it can see it. All 10 viewers can
Yeah,
enjoy it. Yeah.
go
Um,
judge it, please.
okay, so then the other project that we worked on, I'm not going to say the title of it because I think you guys are still working on some variation of something like that. But what's really cool and why I was so excited to get you on today is because we were working on kind of a sci-fi series together. And this was more of the thing that we were really drawing up and we were writing like things from scratch and sorting out what fit together and what did not. And in the process of working on that series, I approached you guys with a concept that I had already been sitting on that I was like really excited about. That concept is Papillon IV, and
Mhm.
that concept is now going to be my new novel that comes out on August 5th of this year. So I wanted to talk to you because you guys are in the acknowledgments in the book. I definitely don't think that I would have grown it in the way that I did if we hadn't had our collaborative process on this sci-fi series. So yeah, how is your memory of that experience of working on that show together?
That memory's really good. I remember Trevor and I learned a lot. We were still really working out our working relationship too, because it's hard to be married and work together when you're both passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we all collabed. We talked for a really long time about a bunch of stuff, and you turned in this really cute story. It's like almost like a fable, if I remember it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same one that links to Papillon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'm so glad that that just didn't end up working out for this project because it was so cute. I don't know. I just think turning it into a book is way better.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And like the way that that has grown now, because I was able to tell the full story where when we were doing the series, I wanted to like break it up into episodes and like over the course of the time, like get that, but like with a lot of extra stuff mixed in. So now it's a complete tale that exists on its own. And one day I would like to turn it into a Jim Henson Labyrinth style movie, but
Oh, that'd be sick, dude.
yeah. Yeah, so I had a really fantastic time working on that. And what I think is really kind of interesting about my memory of the collaborative process was I think that we got a little bit twisted with it too. I think that there was like a point where our communication about how to approach the topics like changed over time and we were not all in the same ballpark. And that can happen when you have a bunch of writers in a room together, especially when, there's not technically a showrunner there. We were all kind of like, what's this thing? What's that thing? Is this thing this? And we each turned in a script, right? We each turned in a separate script. And at a certain point, they felt like different shows.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think part of the issue with that is we are not as, at least at that time, we were not as inclined sci-fi writers and
Mm,
very passionate about it, but our voice is clearly not sci-fi. Our voice
mm,
is adult animated comedy, silly little dick jokes and big fish out of water fans type of stories. And so for at least for me, I don't know how Trevor felt, but for me, that was really hard to write. Like I
mm.
struggled through that. I'm glad I did it, but that was really, really difficult.
It's always good to learn about yourself, your abilities as a writer. Like that's a deep way. And if it's something that you want to do in the future, then you've had this one practice where you know what your issues were, and
Mhm.
maybe down the road you'll be stronger for it. I love the idea of sci-fi getting some adult comedy vibes to it. Like Lower Decks is really funny, right?
Yeah, love Lower Decks.
Yeah. So it's like it's an available option. They talk about really cool science stuff on there, but they have a lot of playful fun too. But yeah, in that same vein, I remember a meeting where we were looking at all the scripts. We had read them all and we were just discussing them. And I had a very specific reaction to each of yours that I was trying to tailor to each of you from my own perspective. And it's always been kind of funny to me whenever I look back on it because I'm like, I really wanted Trevor to feel just justified in the fact that he had written the full thing. I was so surprised. We had just asked him to do an outline. We didn't ask him to be a full writer in that. So I was just telling him how proud I was that he had written a full thing. And I think then I turned to you and I was like, "Hey, okay, these are my specific notes to you because I knew you wanted to be writing. These are my specific notes to you." And I felt like because I was so like positive for him just getting the words down, I felt like there was an emotional like strain for all of us because maybe you deserved a little bit more of that joyful pride of completing or accomplishing what you had written, and I was just being more like, "Hey, I know that you can do this. Let's do this way. Let's get it done." How did that? Do you remember the meeting that I'm referring to?
I have vague memories of it, but it very much sounds like me. So for a few years, I put a lot of my self-value in my work before I felt secure in who I am as an individual, which just comes with aging. Because we
Mm,
met in like my mid 20s, I think. So that was a big growing period for me because we just moved out here and I really didn't know kind of how I fit into everything.
mhm,
So I definitely probably had a very emotional response to it. I probably took it very personally of like, not like you're saying anything negative, just me going, I knew I was stupid. Damn it. And it's just been proven to me, which is not what feedback is, but that's how I used to take it. It was like a very abrasive affront, like it was a very attacking thing to me internally.
mhm.
So I definitely remember having like negative feelings, but I don't remember the specifics about it because that was a kind of a different person of who I am
Okay.
now. Now notes are like I beg for notes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, because you
Wow.
need them because that's how you get better. Or you go, well, that's not right. I just won't do it.
Hmm. Yeah, I will say that I'm very proud to hear that from you. And I really have thought about it a lot in the past where I'm like, she deserved to feel happy about what she did, you know? I never wanted to strain you.
Oh no, that was any. I used to be that way with Trevor, and it was anybody giving a note. It was just I would still take the note. It would just take me a few days to be like, okay, well, maybe it's a good idea. But
Mm.
I have to get past my own ego first during that time to fix it, and then I'd cool off and be fine with it.
It's amazing how much ego plays a factor in collaboration and how important, like how tough it is to remove the egos from the equation. It's basically impossible. So it's like a muscle that you need to exercise on a regular basis. Is just I'm hearing you and I accept you and and like this is where I'm coming from at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Very well put.
Mm. Okay. So I want to talk about then again, Papillon Force coming out, and I really appreciate you guys and everything that you did to like kind of stoke my wheels to be able to be like I can do this thing, and like I was just because of it, I was so excited during that process of writing it that like you guys just were willing to listen, were intrigued by it, you like giving me good feedback at the same time. I feel like there's no way that I would have come to the decision to take Papillon 4 off of this planet if we hadn't gone through that collaboration, if that makes sense. My original concept for this was more of a political event on Earth, and like it occurring between continents, not between worlds. And now it's this huge space opera. And it's like, but it's told in a very simple way, which is what I enjoy so much about it. And like I never would have gotten there if we hadn't had this collaborative experience to begin with. So I always want to like give people their due. You guys certainly helped me to get my book to the point that it's at now.
Hell yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
Mm,
That's what's up.
awesome. Okay. So you've been talking about you don't necessarily want to focus too much on projects that you've got going on right now because they're still in the works and whatnot, but you do have power struggles. And what is it like pitching with a group?
Yeah, that was a really good learning experience. We set up some mock pitches to get some feedback.
Mhm.
So for an animated show, I would think that you do like the business side because we had our producer on, and then you do like us the writers are really fun. So figuring that out was good because like how do you not keep it too dry while giving the logistics of like okay, like here's kind of what we're thinking, while also making sure the really important details of like these are the characters, this is the story, this is the world come across while also not being overdeveloped. That was a big thing. We had a lot of note like, oh, it feels a little overdeveloped. So we had to rein back a little bit of some of the information. Like it's good to have in our back pocket should they ask, but they don't need to know that we know this. So it was good. It was hard, but I think the pitches went really well. We got told no right because Amazon had Invincible coming out,
Oh wow,
so it
that's
was like
sad.
okay, well we're not going to compete with that. And then we also got the note of this was when Disney was like bombing us with a bunch of different superhero content.
Mm,
And they're like, it's too competitive of a market right now. It's just not going to work, which was fair.
mhm.
So yeah, that was a process.
But you pick yourself back up and you work on other projects and you try again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because it's not the right time now doesn't mean in 15 years it wouldn't be. And it's an animated show, so it's not like you have to worry about characters aging out or anything.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss in particular?
Oh, I wanted to make the key. We were talking about collaborating and learning together and all that. And one of the
Mhm.
things I've learned is that once you kind of know yourself, you know the types of people that you need to bring in to collab with you, depending on the project. And for me, I've learned that somebody who is more the question asker and has another skill set that they add, like the current show that I'm working on development with, my co-creator is more of a like, let me just talk through it with you, and you handle a lot of the logistics, and then I'll go do all the pretty art. And it's like, okay, and that's a really good relationship because we're both not in charge of everything. We're splitting up the tasks, but still making it a collaborative effort, and that works really, really well.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Different skills. And then, you might learn something else to do in the process is another thing
Yeah,
that I've discussed in the past with people. But knowing that they're in charge of the animated side of it and you're in charge of the writing side of it, and then that's the room. Is pretty cool. Do you work with a lot of other writers at the moment?
yeah. I try to. It's not necessarily collabing on one project, but we trade our scripts constantly. I have a very nice small group of writer friends that we constantly are trading pitch decks and scripts and getting notes and just trying. It's like a safe space of, hey, even if I say this sucks, I love you and we're going to fix it, but here are the problems. And it's a nice open environment.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's something I would like to have in the future. But I got to redevelop my community in that way over here. But yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that because then you're getting notes, you're getting additional drafts because you're getting different people's feedback, and you could take some of it with a grain of salt, but you can always like if somebody gives you a really good point then like how can you not do something about it?
Yeah, and reading their work makes you a better writer because like, oh, I see how they're doing it and all that. And I used to do coverage at Fuzzy Door, and I learned so much more critiquing other people's work, like writing like, oh, it works like here, and here's all the things I would fix, because you have to be intentional about your notes so the writer knows what you're talking about, but you also have to analyze their work. You really have to do it because they're asking you for it.
Hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Excellent. All right. Well, awesome. I don't know how much time we just ran through, but uh, what time is it?
It's 11:55.
Wow. Okay. All right. That was a pretty quick show. I feel like we probably have some more points that we could make. It's great to see you. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like we blasted through my notes over here, so just like, all right, that's great. No, I dig it. For so let's just say that that was Elizabeth Harding. She's a good writer friend. And I think that you're gonna see some of her work out there in the very near future. We're gonna post her video up here, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah. All right. Love, love, love. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.